Life forms based on boron would be radically different from the carbon-based life we know. Boron is less abundant and has distinct chemical properties that could lead to unique forms of life. Boron-based life forms would face challenges and advantages due to boron-CIPS chemistry, particularly its electron configuration, bonding potential, and ability to form complex structures. Let's explore what these hypothetical organisms could look like, focusing on their physical and biological characteristics. Energy and metabolism, since boron-based life forms are unlikely to rely on the same metabolic pathways as carbon-based life, such as photosynthesis or respiration, they would need an alternative means of acquiring energy. Here are some possibilities. Boron hydride metabolism. Borons might be used in an energy cycle. In this process, a boron-based life form could react borons with other chemicals, such as hydrogen or methane, to release energy, similar to how carbon-based organisms oxidize organic molecules to release energy. This would be a form of chemical energy metabolism using boron as the central element. Boron-oxygen chemistry. The oxidation of boron could be used as a biochemical energy source. In this case, life forms could use boron compounds that react with oxygen or other oxidizing agents in their environment, similar to the way Earth organisms use oxygen in cellular respiration. Catalysis by boron. Boron compounds, especially borates, can serve as catalysts in various reactions. Life forms might rely on boron as a key component in their catalytic cycles. Boron can form both simple and complex crystal structures, and life forms on a boron-based world could use these properties to build their physical structure. These could range from hard, crystalline exoskeletons to fibrous, flexible structures that still rely on boron-based chemistry for strength and flexibility. Life on Earth uses DNA and RNA for storing genetic information. In a boron-based biochemistry, an alternative genetic system could evolve using molecules that incorporate boron into their structure. Instead of the familiar sugar-phosphate backbone found in DNA, a boron-based genetic system could feature boron-oxygen bonds or boron-carbon structures in its backbone. Instead of cellular division, boron-based organisms might reproduce through crystalline budding or fragmentation. A parent organism could grow new buds of borate crystals that eventually break off and grow into new organisms. Growth in boron-based life might involve the polymerization of boron compounds in a manner similar to how Earth's life forms grow through the polymerization of amino acids and sugars. As boron-based life forms mature, their bodies could be composed of increasingly complex boron-containing molecules that are produced by polymerization processes catalyzed by boron-based enzymes. Boron's ability to form stable crystalline structures means boron-based life forms might tolerate extreme temperatures, both hot and cold, far beyond the range of carbon-based organisms. Many boron-based plants would likely possess crystalline exoskeletons or outer layers made from borates or borosilicates. These crystalline structures would provide rigidity and protection, much like the cell walls of Earth plants made of cellulose or the silica exoskeletons of diatoms. The crystals could have complex geometric patterns and vibrant metallic hues, such as silvery white, metallic blues, or iridescent greens, depending on the compounds they use. Instead of starch or sugars, boron-based plants would likely store energy in borate esters or borane compounds. These compounds could be part of the plant's tissues or storage organs, potentially giving them a shiny or reflective appearance, as these compounds might have metallic or glassy properties. These plants would likely not use chlorophyll for photosynthesis, but instead would rely on boron-containing pigments. Their leaves might be metallic or iridescent, reflecting the specific wavelengths of light they absorb. The pigments might be hues of dark purple, green, or blue, absorbing light from ultraviolet or infrared wavelengths instead of visible light. Instead of typical seeds or spores, boron plants might reproduce through crystalline budding. New growth might begin as small, sharp, and geometrically perfect crystalline structures that eventually grow into new plants. These buds could break off and float away, carried by wind or water, and fracture into smaller parts to form entirely new plants. Imagine fern-like plants with metallic, shimmering leaves made from borosilicate glass-like material. The fronds have geometric patterns that trap light at specific angles, making them look like glass sculptures. The plants may be able to store and release energy in the form of borate esters. Their reproductive spores could be glowing crystals that drift through the air. Boron fauna, rigid exoskeletons. Just as boron-based plants might use crystalline materials for structure, boron-based animals would likely have rigid exoskeletons composed of borate minerals or boron-silicon composites. These exoskeletons could have sharp, angular surfaces that allow for protection and stability. They might appear metallic or have a glassy sheen, reflecting light in complex ways. These animals could have very geometrically symmetrical bodies, with limbs or antennae that are highly angular and shaped to maximize efficiency and protection. Their forms could evoke the appearance of mineral crystals with sharp facets or prismatic structures. Their bodies could contain borane compounds that store and release energy, which might be visible as glowing veins or light traces along the animal's exoskeleton, particularly when they are engaged in high-energy activities. Boron-based fauna would likely have rigid limbs or antennae that can extend, retract, or rotate with precision. These limbs could resemble crystal-like structures that are capable of gripping, digging, or walking with a mechanical-like efficiency. In some cases, boron-based organisms could have wings or sails made from lightweight, crystalline structures that allow them to glide or even hover. These wings could have a faceted appearance, like the wings of a crystal insect, reflecting and refracting light in dazzling patterns. Instead of traditional eyes, boron-based fauna could have crystalline sensory organs that detect light and radiation, similar to how some Earth organisms use specialized receptors for infrared or UV light. These organs might appear as shiny, glass-like structures on the head or body, potentially capable of picking up light from wider wavelengths, including ultraviolet or infrared. These creatures might be capable of seeing in non-visible spectrums, sensing electromagnetic waves or vibrations in the environment. Instead of vision or hearing, they might sense changes in pressure or energy patterns, or have piezoelectric-like structures in their bodies, allowing them to detect shifts in the environment. Since boron compounds form complex structures, these life forms might reproduce by growing crystalline offspring from their bodies. Instead of sexual reproduction, they might engage in budding or fragmentation. where parts of their exoskeleton or crystalline body break off and grow into new individuals. Alternatively, reproduction could involve the division of their crystalline cells in a fission-like process, where a parent breaks apart and each fragment grows into a new organism. The atmosphere would likely be rich in hydrogen, methane, ammonia, and boron compounds. Unlike Earth's nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, a boron-based planet might have minimal oxygen or none at all, as boron-based organisms wouldn't need oxygen for metabolism. The atmosphere might include boron-containing gases such as borane, BSA rain, boron oxide, BAD-CO ice, along with other volatile boron compounds. The planet's atmosphere would likely be dense and thick, creating a strong greenhouse effect that would trap heat. The presence of boron compounds could create clouds or fog with iridescent or metallic hues, reflecting the unique chemical composition. Weather patterns would likely involve chemical rain, where borate minerals, boric acid, and other borate compounds fall as a type of liquid precipitation. These compounds might form solid deposits over time, giving the planet a more geologically active surface. Liquid on the surface would likely be not water, but ammonia, methane, or liquid hydrogen due to the lack of oxygen. Rivers could consist of liquid methane or ammonia flowing through the landscape and interacting with the surface minerals, creating solid deposits of borates along the riverbanks. A planet with a boron-based ecosystem would be radically different from anything we know on Earth, offering a truly alien but fascinating environment where life thrives on the unique chemistry of boron. I'm so grateful for each of you who tuned in today. Thank you for being part of this journey with me, and stay tuned as we explore more exotic subjects.